Hello, my name is Alexis Darden, and this is the Open EMR Review and Reflection for INFM 655. This is for our week 2 assignment for our individual assessment. So for this assignment, we were to reflect on our group assignment and identify 2 user roles and describe our experience in the context, and then also record an individual reflective experience as a project manager. So the first role that I chose was the clinician. So for the first question, we were asked, what do we think about the navigation process? So the navigation process as a clinician was pretty straightforward. OpenEMR wasn't really difficult to navigate from the clinician standpoint, as everything was really easy to locate and view. The menu bar on the far left of the screen helps navigate your way through the OpenEMR by using simple text to tell you where to go to find something. The calendar is easily accessible by being the first thing the clinician sees upon logging on. The messages are also easily accessible by being located at the very bottom of the screen upon logging on as well. Both the calendar and the messages are beneficial for the clinician to see when initially logging in, because those 2 items will be what the clinician needs to see to determine the busyness of the remainder of their workday. The patient dashboard made it easy to view different parts of the patient's file with everything easily accessible in each tab. I like the search option at the very bottom of the screen since it allows the clinician to find a patient by a number of methods. From the patient search option, you can also add a patient. When searching for reports, the tab is broken down into different types of reports, and each report type can be searchable by facility and through date ranges. So I thought that was very beneficial as well. One thing that I did not like about the navigation process was that every time I would log out and log back in to open EMR, the landing page would be different each time. The landing page should be pretty constant and not change every time the clinician logs out for the day or even throughout the day, because this can interrupt the clinician's workflow. The only time the landing page should change is if the clinician sets it up to change to better their workflow. I also didn't like that once you select a new tab, if you choose to go back to an old tab, you have to complete your search again to get to where you were. I think the tab should open up at the top. That would allow for clinicians to easily navigate, especially with a patient that will require different information on one screen. So as a user, the types of trainings that I would need to help navigate the EHR system, since OpenEMR was easy to navigate, there were parts of the system that you have to dig deeply to find. As a user, I would need training on each tab of the system, showing me the functionality that each tab holds, along with neat tips and tricks if there are any. I would also need to be shown how to customize my screen so that I could utilize OpenEMR to meet my daily needs when working with patients. Hands-on, in-depth training is a must to avoid putting clinicians out on the floor too soon, which in return would cause them to make avoidable errors. As a user, I would need training that would allow me to utilize different scenarios to navigate the EHR system in different ways. Training should also include how to send prescriptions to the pharmacy and how to provide telehealth patient care, how to go into billing for a patient if I need to, and how to attach documents into a patient's file, and also to look for them if I need them. So the second role that I chose was a front desk receptionist. Um, the navigation process was fairly easy. The first screen I saw upon logging on was all the clinician schedules for the day. This is the most important landing page for the front desk receptionist because this screen will be the main view they need throughout their shift based on checking patients in, checking patients out, and having to schedule the patients. The menu bar on the left side of the screen allows for great functionality because everything the front desk receptionist needs is easily accessible. It's beneficial to have the recall board and the flow board for them to see how well the day is progressing and to also see if there are any patients they may need to follow up with throughout the day. The front desk receptionist needs access to the message board because this can serve as a reminder to the clinicians if they miss any important messages from being occupied with patients all day. Also, there may be messages from clinicians to the receptionist based on any needs they may have, but this would be beneficial if there is not an instant messaging system in place for staff. I did not like how the receptionist doesn't have full access to the patient dashboard. Much of the receptionist's work lies in the patient dashboard, from scheduling new patients, making edits within their personal information, adding in documents, dealing with insurance cards and identification, checking on prescription refill statuses, and etc. The receptionist does not have access to the patient history, the patient ledger, or any patient issues. All of these things may seem to only be for the eyes of the clinician or the physician. It will be beneficial to the patient to authorize access to these things to possibly get things done quicker or to answer any questions the patient may have outside of a clinician or physician being present. When searching within OpenEMR, if the receptionist appears to not have access to something, there's no way to go back and retry the search. It would be helpful for the receptionist to not have to start a new search over from the very beginning, especially if they are in a hurry to find information for a patient. As a user, there are different types of trainings that the receptionist will need to navigate the EHR system. Training would also need to continue after putting a receptionist in front of patients, not just while they're in training with somebody who's just training them outside of being out on the floor. Receptionists need in-depth training to learn the ins and outs of the EHR system. They have a very important job in that they have to schedule appointments, check patients in, check patients out, collect important documentation identification, collect copays and other payments, communicate between physicians, patients, and pharmacists, and more. Trainings on how to collect payments and void out incorrect payments will be very, very beneficial for the staff and for the patient. The receptionist needs to learn how to properly check in a patient and what to look for in terms of the entire profile before the patient can be seen. Insurance is a huge deal as a receptionist, and training should show how to collect insurance and what to do in different scenarios. The training should also put the receptionist in real-time scenarios, as the pace can be different on different days. Sometimes the day can be slow and sometimes the day can move quickly, and the receptionist needs to know how to handle patients during different times of the day where business speed can change. So I think I pretty much explained how I felt about the navigation process and the different trainings that I would implement if I was a project manager, just to make things easier for the clinician and for the receptionist. Having training go too fast for any of these roles could result in patient error in care, and that's something that you want to avoid. So making sure that the clinician and that the front desk receptionist receives the greatest amount of training for however long it may take will be very beneficial in the end for the clinic as a whole, simply because you don't want to put them out on the floor too quickly and then they make avoidable errors. So this is my assignment 2 for week 2 for our Open EMR review and reflection. Thank you.